Good evening. In our news bulletin for this evening, Taonga Niue held a history workshop this week to encourage Niueans to start working on writing their own history. A validation workshop held today was to complete the development of two separate plans within the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries. The national sporting body looked forward to the new Sports Award for 2013 to 2014. The Black Heart Fishing Competition ended this week on a high note despite the bad weather and delays. Taonga Niue's history workshop held at Arlena's yesterday has awakened an interest and has encouraged Niueans to write and document their own history. The workshop, facilitated by Margaret Pointer, was divided into two parts. The morning session gave an overview of the value of family and village histories, and the afternoon session was an account of how to get started on such a project using Margaret Pointer's experience with her new book that details 200 years of contact in Niue history. We spoke with Mrs. Pointer to find out about the value of the workshop held yesterday.
I want to see the Niuean stories recorded somehow, whether they're recorded on film or recorded on cell phones or written down or into the computer. People have all sorts of stories and they need to be somehow recorded and collected so that you don't lose that aspect of your history. And because your history it's an oral tradition, then you don't have those collections, huge collections of paper material that the Europeans have. So you have to get it written down now. And I say written in whatever form you want to do it these days. And there's the technology to do it. And you put it off and you put it off, and you're always losing some of that information. Every day you're losing some of those memories, and so you have to get started on it. And somehow, and Taonga Niue can be a repository for the collected stories of Niue.
Organisers noted the overwhelming turnout was an indication that there is an interest and hunger for culture and history, and Mrs. Pointer said that is where it begins.
History was my favourite subject at school, and I majored in history at university, and then I did an honours degree in history. And my honours degree included a research component, and also I did a paper on Pacific history, and that was quite unusual at the time that I was studying at university. There wasn't a lot even of New Zealand history, and there certainly wasn't much Pacific history. But we did have at Victoria, we had a member of the history department who was particularly interested in Samoan history, of New Zealand administration of Samoa, but still it introduced us to Pacific history. And then I've taught history in secondary schools for many years. And so my particular fascination in Niue obviously was living here and finding out that people wanted to know about the World War I story. And that's what got me, because as I listened to them saying, we want to know about it, my head was saying to me, where would I go to find some of the answers to those questions? And so that started me on that. And once I started that, I sort of couldn't stop. I look everywhere for material about Niue. I'm always looking, and I haven't stopped since the book's been done. So, so I have a background in history, and I suppose the background gives me the skills to undertake the research in that in archives and libraries. But and now I'm just fascinated by Niue.
The challenge posed by Margaret Pointer to participants was to start recording and writing down accounts of their family or village or national history, to reference their sources during research, to start this research today and not put off until later, but most of all, to share what you're doing with others. One of the main emphasis from the workshop was to get started and for people to be able to take those valuable resources to Taonga Niue as a repository. Stakeholders met at the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries today to discuss the development and completion of the agriculture sector plans as well as the food and nutrition policy. The initiative through DAF has also been supported by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community and the Food and Agriculture Organization, who also have representatives here this week. DAF is part of the Ministry of Natural Resources, and this was an opportunity to confirm and present back to their partners.
It's a validation workshop for two particular things that it's currently under ministry, through the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, and that's the agriculture sector plan and the food and nutrition security policy. These are work that has been in the pipeline for a number of years, and it's also reflected in our national strategic plan. So this is we've had assistance from FAO towards our policy, and SPC on developing our sector plan. So today is an opportunity to have a discussion, get the stakeholders, and to see whether the information or the things that's in the policy and also in the plan, it's useful, or they should be there, whether it's relevant or not. So it's, when you validate, you say, yes, we agreed, everything's in there, it's reflected in our viewpoints, and what we want to do is reflected in the plan, it's reflected in the policy. And in the policy, it's a food and nutrition security policy. This one, it's very important because it's talking about, opportunity, making sure that we do have enough food, we're secured. Also the food we have is nutrition value. So it touches on the livelihood of the people, it touches on economic development opportunities. In the sector plan, agriculture sector plan, sets out what we would like to see in the next 5 years, how we're going to progress and how we're going to support and provide services for the growers and everybody in the sector.
Several consultation processes have been followed over the past few years to get views from stakeholders, and the session today was to validate those views incorporated into the plan and policy.
From our perspective, we would like to see this plan have to go through Cabinet, of course, for endorsement. Once you get endorsement, then we'll look at the implementation part. As you know, having policies and plans, it's just a step forward. The most important part is the implementation. So we're looking at the moment, we don't have the resources that's there, but you've got to have the foundation, you set the framework, so you can hopefully we use these plans and the policy to facilitate getting resources to help us implement a lot of these things. But it's a starting point. The most important part of the plan, the journey, it will be the implementation. And as we implement, we need to monitor it so what we want to see today is going to be achieved in 5 years' time or 10 years' time.
Director General Josie Tamate said that although there are two different plans, there are interlinkages between these plans that should all link up to the overall policy, that is the National Integrated Strategic Plan goal for a prosperous Niue. Niuean athletes will be recognized for their achievements in a sports awards evening organized by the national sporting body on the island. This is the second National Sports Awards, and there will be 11 awards up for grabs based on results from 2013 to 2014. According to the Niskaga president, Alan Tano, there will be a youth sports category with trophies for a girl and a boy, awards for junior sports category, sports girl and sports boy, a sportswoman and sportsman award, the best sports coach, best sports official, and a new category for the best sports association. The organisation has set criteria for eligibility, and Tano says that they looked at performance and results in terms of medals as well as other criteria. The Niue Sports Awards will be held on Saturday, the 20th of June at the Pacific Way Bar. The annual Black Hearts sports fishing competition ended on a high note this week with good catches in both the canoe and boat fishing categories. This year's event has seen a collaboration between Niue Tourism and Niue Fisheries, incorporating a safety element into the competition. Despite some cancellations and postponements of some of the events due to rough seas and unpleasant weather, the 3-day competition went ahead. The popularity of the event saw over 30 canoe fishermen participate in the 3-day black hat fishing competition that began on Saturday and ended on Monday. The results for the canoe category for the heaviest pelagic fish, first and second place went to Dimitri Liamu with a yellowfin tuna of 76 kilograms and one weighing in at 18 kilograms. Third place went to Umusi Makani for his yellowfin tuna weighing in at 17.7 kilograms. The results of the heaviest total weight of catch also went to Dimitri Villiamo with a whopping total of 3 yellowfin tunas weighing in at 110.7 kilograms in total. Second place with 5 yellowfin tunas weighing in at 71.4 kilograms in total, that went to Poi Okesene. And third placing went to Langakinu Lavini with 1 yellowfin tuna, a wahoo and a barracuda weighing in at 36.7 kilograms in total. As for the boat charters category, that was postponed until Monday. That included 12 anglers and ended yesterday. The results for the heaviest overall pelagic fish went to Jim Leslie, who caught a yellowfin tuna weighing in at 25.7 kilograms. Second placing went to Stuart Middlebrook with a 23.8 kilogram wahoo. And third place went to John Ellis with a wahoo weighing in at 23.4 kilograms. The heaviest overall total weight in the boat category went to Waza Olif with 4 wahoo and 5 yellowfin tuna with a total weight of 92.4 kilograms. Second placing went to Bryce Collins with 1 wahoo and 2 yellowfin tuna, total weight of 55.7 kilograms. Third place went to the total weight of 53 kilograms for 2 wahoos and 1 yellowfin tuna caught by Stuart Middlebrook. The Black Heart Fishing Competition prize giving was held at the Kalani Sea Track with a hefty umu feast prepared to celebrate everyone's efforts. And that concludes our news bulletin for this evening. Just a reminder, if you would like to see the elephant Angeli, tomorrow will be your last opportunity before she departs on Saturday. And we'd like to wish all those who will be part of the Sports Awards all the best for the Sports Awards evening.